Hello, it's Howard, teaserking, coming to you with week 12 of college football for 2013. This is going to be a huge week. I see at least 10 games, 15 games that easily can be played all over the place. I look at what you have now as these really good teams that are fighting for the top spot, the Alabamas, the Baylors, Ohio State, Florida State, Clemson tonight. They need the game. They need to win by a lot. If they win close, they might get overpassed because it's all a vote, which is, of course, stupid, but that's what they have till they finally get a playoff in here. So you get a good matchup, and these teams are going to win by 50 points because they have to. If they win 20-17, they're not going to get votes, and that's all they do. So they get fired up. You're not going to get letdowns, and you just really look for good matchups. So we'll go to Florida State, Syracuse. Florida State's laying 38. Looking at Syracuse, yeah, they played some good teams, some bad teams well and won, but against the good teams, Clemson, I think there was one other one, and they just got blown out. And against the weaker teams, they do well. Florida State knows with Ohio State and Baylor on their back and Stanford, they can't win this game 21-17. So I look for Florida State to just pound them at home, probably get a 50 or so points. And it'll be tight with 38. You knock it down to 32, but you got to like Florida State. They're on such a roll. They're scoring 50, 60 points a game. They got it all. They got the quarterback, the running backs, receivers, the defense. I don't see Syracuse scoring a whole lot here. Just not their element. Syracuse is a good home team against teams they can handle, but nobody can handle Florida State. So I look at that as a fairly strong game. Another strong game would be Ohio State laying 33 to Illinois. Again, Illinois is just terrible. Ohio State scoring 50, 60 points the last few games. Must win. Illinois' defense can't stop them. I look for Ohio State to just pound them. That's what Urban likes to do. And again, they know they have to try to catch Florida State or Alabama, so they will just pound them and put up at least a 50 or a 60 on Illinois here. It's another really big game. Alabama laying 24 to Mississippi State. Mississippi State's not bad, but against weaker teams. Excuse me. In this type of game, I look for Alabama just to shut them out. Last 2 years, Mississippi State's got a touchdown against them. I know Mississippi State scored 41 on A&M, who has no defense, but Alabama will just shut them down. They know they got Auburn coming up. They can't afford a letdown here, and really you got to win by 18 here. And surprisingly, Alabama on the road is against the spread is just much stronger than they are at home against the spread, which is hard to imagine. But I think they might substitute more. They're allowed more players at home. So on the road, they just have the better players, and they just pound you. And their defense is, you just can't score on it. And their offense is much more wide open. The quarterback's been there, McCarron, a couple of years. So, it's another. They got to win, and they got Auburn coming up. They can't afford a letdown there either. One sneaky play, Michigan State's laying 6 to Nebraska. If you look at the matchup, Nebraska wins this game all the time, and I just don't see them doing that this year. I see Michigan State. I'm going to call the score. Michigan State 24, Nebraska 0. I just feel a shutout coming. Nebraska had trouble against Michigan's defense, who's just terrible. State will just shut down Nebraska's running, and I know they're a little bit weaker on the road, but Nebraska's just terrible. They're just not a very good team. Should have lost to Northwestern, but I think Michigan State's defense just pounds them into submission here. and I don't see Michigan State really having a problem at Nebraska this time. Like I said, 24-0, and I really don't see Nebraska scoring in the game. One other game I like is I like UCF. They're laying Central Florida, laying 16.5 to Temple. Looking at this, I really like UCF. They're a very sound team, good quarterback, great defense. Watched the Houston game. That was one of my locks last week. We had Houston. I should say I had Houston. I mean, we, the Teaser King family, but basically, Houston gave them all they want. They're very good defensively. They held Houston a couple hundred yards, and basically, good quarterback in Bartles. And against Temple, they shouldn't have any problem here. 16.5 coming down to 10.5. That should be easy. Again, they need the game for the conference championship, and otherwise, what's the point of the Houston win? So I look at UCF big. And I'll give you one last game. Northwestern laying 2.5, 3 to Michigan. And I really like Northwestern here. Michigan's weakness is their defense against the pass, their offensive line, their quarterback, their running backs, which they don't have. And I just see it as Northwestern's going to throw all over on them. And I think Northwestern's defense. Now, I know Northwestern's lost a few games. They had Nebraska beat. Oh, excuse me. But I just see this as Michigan on the road's terrible. I mean, they barely beat Connecticut, Akron. I mean, I wish Michigan was favored here, but they're so bad. But I just see Northwestern at home getting the win here. I see them throwing for 400 yards against Michigan's non-existent secondary and Michigan's offense. I mean, Northwestern had Ohio State beat. I mean, they were down I think they were winning by 4 late in the game. They ended up losing by 10, but it was really 3 because they scored on the last play of the game. Ohio State got a touchdown, and they sacked them in the end zone or something like that. So really, they played Ohio State tough at home, and as far as I know, their quarterbacks are fine to play. They'll give Michigan trouble, and Northwestern's defense is good enough to stop Michigan. I just see Northwestern winning this game. Anyway, big, huge lock going in the pros on Sunday, and another huge lock going in college on Saturday. And these will win hands down. There's no question. Like I said a couple of weeks ago, if I don't have a lock, I don't play it. I don't play locks just to play locks. And when I call a game a lock, it's a feel. I've seen it before. I've been doing this for a long time, over 30 years. When I see a game and I know I can feel if there's an issue. Like when I look at the Stanford USC game, I don't feel comfortable in that game. I like Stanford. I want to take USC, but I don't want to go against Stanford. I don't have a feel in that game. When I look at Florida State Syracuse, I got to feel that Florida State's going to win. I got to feel they're going to put up 50. I can feel that's a blowout. And the game in college and the pros, I just absolutely looked at it, loved it right away, and know there's no way this game's losing. So I just have it. I have just a ton of college going. I gave you a few, but a couple of really strong plays that I didn't mention, and you'll have to buy them on the site. But basically, huge week. I could give you 20 plays in college. It's that strong this week. Anyway, come to the site, www.teaserking.com. The lock's very cheap. For $25 you can have the locks. I try to keep it affordable because I want people to make money and win, and I want to make a little bit for myself, but I really I want people to make money, and I want them to make money playing football, and that's kind of why I do this. So anyway, huge lock, very, very cheap. For $50 you get the whole week if you want pro and college, and I got my big pro lot going. Anyway, good luck to you. Have a great weekend, and take care.